Hi, everybody. This is Joanne. I'm here to give you a little guidance today. I see that we have Karen from Phoenix, Arizona. Awesome. And if you choose all panelists um, and attendees, then everyone in the group will be able to see who you are. If you want to put in the chat where you're coming from, then I can get a chance of who all's here. Get an idea of who all's here. And we'll get started in a few minutes. We're going to wait and see how many more people show up in the next couple of minutes. Hope you're all having a good day today. It is a Saturday, so hopefully everybody's got off work and can concentrate on their own self-worth today. For the new people who are just coming in, if you push the chat button, you can type in a little bit about where you're coming from. I can see your name anyway if you post something. Hi, Ilya and Marianne. Hope you're not where the fires are, Marianne. She's coming from Chico, California. Ah, they're all around you. Oh dear. Take a not too deep breath, and we hope that they'll be able to get those under control. Gray, smoky skies. Yeah, I'm up here in Oregon, a bit north of you, and we don't have the fires. Cross my fingers, not yet. But I've been through those hazy skies before. We had big fires here in 2017. Let's see, what else do we need to know? Oh, yes. When you get a chance, or whenever you have questions, I can't see you all, and we're not interacting directly here, but if you have questions, there's a little Q&A button at the bottom of the Zoom screen. If you click on that, you can put your questions in, and near the end of the talk, I will open the question box and address any questions that you might have. Oh, thank you, Marianne. She says she's grateful to have this today. Something positive, which is cool. Because ultimately, the universe is nothing but energy, people. And we can feel it anytime we choose. It's all good in the long run. Although sometimes that's hard to see. Yep, yep. Ellie is enjoying being in our energy again. We've done some work together before. Well, I think it's a good time to get started. Again, I'm Joanne Sprott, and I work out of my own space at cosmicwhispers.com. I'm really looking forward to working with Guidely. Uh, it's just going to be a great opportunity to be supported in the work that those of us who want to be guides and are already guides are doing. And I'm just looking forward to sharing my own experience and my own journey through the spiral of spiritual development, because I really think that wherever you are on that spiral, you can benefit from the rest of us sharing where we've already gone through and how we've navigated our way, more or less, and fallen down and gotten up and all those sorts of things. What I'm going to do today is give you a little capsule of my journey, but it's not just about my biography now. We're going to do some stuff together. I'm going to take you through a little process to help you learn a little bit about love without reservation. It's a little like unconditional love, but I like love without reservation better. Um, and I'll tell you why when we get to how to kind of detach yourself from all the stuff that creates those reservations. So we'll do a couple little meditative processes and see if we can free ourselves from some of those reservations. I use this method every day with other people and myself, because I am always my worst critic. So I have to also exercise that with myself, which is what this is about. Take care of self first, and then we'll talk about everybody else. And to me, practice is the most important thing. In my case, the 18 years of practice. So, but that's what it's all about. It becomes a part of your whole life and how you respond to your own insides and to other people. In my case, I started out, I don't know about you, maybe you feel like you're also walking around a stranger in a strange land. Um, but when I was very young, about 6 or 7 years old, I certainly felt that way. I hung out in the Catholic Church with my parents, but it felt different to me. I was very much attached to the whole thing, the pomp and circumstance, but also this sense of spiritual awareness that I picked up really early. And I just felt like Jesus was there in the stained glass of windows of my church. I could really tell, but I didn't say anything to anybody because I wasn't sure how they'd respond to that. So I kind of kept quiet and stayed and participated and followed the rules and all that kind of stuff. And then I decided I finally I grew up and was still following the rules and went off to college away from parents and all that kind of thing. I'd always been a very good girl, always colored within the lines. And now I had an opportunity to be free. And this was 1975. So I took that opportunity and I learned all kinds of cool stuff in college, including informal stuff like socializing with people and love and all the things that we go get into as young adults. But the seminal moment, and I know this is going to sound kind of corny, is when I saw the first Star Wars movie. I'd always been a fan of science fiction. I mean, Star Trek since I was 9 years old. But the Force was something I've been looking for, definitely. Although I did never really learned telekinesis as a result of watching the movie, I did come to the conclusion that the universe and the world of soul and spirit was much larger than the church that I had grown up in, and that I could access it myself. Someday, some way, I saw hope. So I left the church at that point and basically took a kind of, humanist sort of approach to all things spiritual. I kind of got busy with life. I got busy with a career, first in the Air Force and then as a freelance editor, and having children and getting along with a mate who also was kind of a humanist sort of guy. So I just kind of waited. I started getting frustrated about waiting in the late 80s and early 90s. But I kept on with my duties and things. Didn't want to ruffle any feathers or make any waves with some of the people around me. But when I hit 42, I started exploring through the Unitarian Church that I was going to a whole lot of really interesting ideas from people like Neil Donna Walsh and Greg Braden and Deepak Chopra and other people in that sort of realm, and channelers and of other sorts that some of you are probably not that familiar with. But that really opened my eyes. And there I was living in Houston, Texas at the time, and some of them were having workshops in my city. And so I started going to workshops and I started to, wait a minute, there's an energy, the energy from when I was a kid. It's still there, and these people knew about it and they showed me. And energy healers I went to showed me I had access to it also. And the feeling of that energy flowing through your body in a healing session is like nothing I have ever experienced. I was accidentally turning off computers. I was like a baby, new age awakened person. I was like out of control with it in a lot of ways. And I made some big changes, and they were painful changes because I got divorced. Um, and But as a result, I had a freedom I'd never had before. But there was still a sense of having work to do because I wasn't really sure what to do with all that energy. And I still had a lot of things that were bothering me. I was always very self-critical. The Catholic Church kind of teaches you to be that way. And so I felt this resistance to fully experiencing and fully sharing what it was that connection to energy that was inside of me. And the best thing I did for myself was something called self-forgiveness. It's a process of looking in the mirror with someone with you. I do recommend that because you can end up feeling like you've left this dimension and gone into another one for a little while. But that helped me disconnect from my own sense of guilt. And that's one of the main paths to the self part of Love Without Reservation. And for me, anyway, forgiveness is totally unnecessary in theory. But that kind of path worked for me. And I've been practicing that, what I learned from that ever since. So that's the end of my little journey. Where we are time-wise. And the next thing is to help you along with yours. Now that you kind of know where I've been and what I've learned that I can pass on, which is the whole idea behind all of this. So let's see. I think it might be time to share my screen. Let's see. Where's that? Yes. Because I have some pictures I want to show you. And what we're going to do is we're going to open our eyes first and then close them and try a couple of ways to detach from all that mental junk that's going on in your head. And this is the kind of, to find this place that I can find if I just sit and breathe and feel it. But let me share a screen first and then we can do that. So now you should be able to see my screen, I hope. And I'm not quite sure how to access mine. I think I can't access the chat window, but I'm hoping you can all see my screen. And if I click on this one, we go to the next one. So the first thing we're going to do, if you'd like to get comfortable, see the big earth ball out there. The first thing we want to do is keep your eyes open this time and take a deep breath through your nose. 1, 2, 3, and out through your mouth. 6, 1, 2. But keep your eyes open for this, because this is an awareness exercise. Really lovely thing that a friend of mine named Jean Hamilton Ford taught me. We're going to go out eventually and wrap our arms around the earth. But first, we stay where we are and look around. What do you see around you? Focus on any object. Focus on all the objects. Really look at them in great detail. Keep breathing. Just look and breathe and take it in. I see a tree outside my window. I see my lamp is on. I see little scarves, blue and green, back behind the computer there. I see candles behind me. I see a box of tissues. I see a wooden desk. Actually, it's a door. It's been made to be a desk. Think about what you're seeing. Just, no judgment about it, because we're going for no reservations, remember? So no judgments either. Just look around. I see shells. I collected a lot of shells when I lived in Corpus Christi, Texas. So look around you, just at your own situation, and see what thoughts come up, just like I just did. But let them be neutral thoughts, positive thoughts, good memories. We know the other ones are there, but right now let's focus on the better ones. Okay, next, I'd like you to take another deep breath all the way in. 1, 2, 3, 4 this time, the Buddhist way. And then out for 8. 1, 2. Now I'd like you to close your eyes, because we're going to use the senses that we normally don't pay much attention to. We're very visual beings. So close your eyes and listen. What do you hear besides my voice? I heard a cough downstairs. That's the hubby. I hear this. It's like a buzz, but it's not a buzz. It's almost as if I can hear the air in the room. Maybe it's a little hiss from the computer itself. Do you hear bird sounds? What do you hear? Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter what it says. Just listen. Okay, now we get into some really fun senses we don't pay that much attention to unless, except maybe when we're about to eat. And these are really basic senses. They go back to our reptilian brain and our reptilian ancestors. They're important though. Have you ever noticed, I'm sure you have, that smells bring back memories as if you were right there, going through them again? So these are powerful senses. And again, I'm asking you to engage in the present moment in your senses so you can get off of your mind. So, what can you smell from here? You can keep your eyes closed for this part too, and the other ones if it helps you sense those things, because, like I said, vision is very distracting. Breathing in. Breathing out. Smells in the room. Sorry, no food here. Maybe a little bit of the carpet always has a little bit of a scent, I think. Maybe a little leftover from the candle I had burning earlier today. So I normally read tarot cards for myself in the morning. So and I use beeswax candles. So they have a very distinctive smell when they go out. Think about some of the things that you smell. What sort of memories they create for you. Oh, this should be different. Another deep breath in and out. What can you taste from here? Anything left over from breakfast? Toothpaste? Me, it's just the water that I've been drinking. And that sort of taste in my mouth that's always there. I have memories of great flavors from this morning's breakfast, which included goat cheese. I like goat cheese. So think about what you can taste from here. Probably pretty simple at this time of the day, but all of the senses are important, all of them, and there are more than 5. We've done the 5, I think. Oh, not quite. Touch. This one's a little easier to do than taste and smell, where it's not about emotional touch. Close your eyes. Deep breath in, deep breath out. What can you touch from here? You're probably sitting. What's your chair made out of? What does it feel like? Is it smooth? Does it feel kind of dead because it's plastic? Do you have something that used to be alive, like a wooden desk or a wooden chair? What does that feel like? It's all been sanded smooth by human beings and maybe stained or painted afterwards. All kinds of things. There are keys on my keyboard. I better not touch them or something weird will happen. Things like our faces, our hair, our clothing. I think this is rayon. It's got a almost like silk, but a little rougher sort of feel. So how do things feel when you touch them? Focus on that for just a couple more seconds. Okay, now take another breath in and then out slowly, because we're going to get into the senses that are not so obvious, but they can still be considered senses. And the next one is, how do you feel? Right this minute, not about anything from the past or the future. Now that you've played with your five senses, how does it feel? What sorts of emotions are sitting in your body? Are you worried? Are you feeling calmer now that you've spent some time in the present moment with your senses? I hope so. That was a goal, although no goals are absolutely necessary to reach at any moment in time. I feel still a little bit nervous, but much calmer and slower, if that's a feeling. To feel how you feel in your body now, because your body will tell you. Tummy tight, tummy relax, because this is how we get to the next place. Now I want you to definitely look at the picture of the earth. And then I'd like you to close your eyes. And take another breath. And let it out. And now picture that bowl in front of you. And picture yourself as an angel. Let's call it that. You've got wings coming down with your arms. Feel yourself expand out and around. Understand that all of those senses help you know who you are at this moment, which is energy that can circle the globe and connect to everyone and everything. Everything is everything, and we are everything. And we anchor the calm for ourselves and everything. And this is the one part of this kind of presentation where I would wish to have more direct feedback, but we will move on from here. I'm hoping that you got the feeling of the oneness. It's really cool because that's the place to go back to when you have the challenge of loving without reservation. Breathing again, we move on to the next stage, which is to be present. We've already worked partly on this being present. The picture now is one of the new moon. It's there, but you can't really see it very well, can you? It's darkness, but there's something invisible that really is there. It's a something, even though it looks like almost a nothing. And that's the power of the empty mind. As my friend Jean would say, I've got one of the most powerful mental monkeys on the planet. Lots of resistance. She and I worked through it in the program that she has. She's one of my mentors. And one of the things that I learned in a workshop a long time ago, not with Jean, but very long time ago, was a little exercise for the empty mind. Can you see where we're going now? We're staying in the present. We played with our senses, and now we're going to go inside our heads and make it a little quieter in there. So you'll see from the bullets where we're going on the slide. So what I'd like you to do is close your eyes again. Take a breath, just like the lady told me when I was in the workshop. Be still. Now look at the insides of your eyelids. Focus just on that. Nothing else. What do you see? Pink, I think. Yes. Photies? I have lots more photies now that I'm old. But what do you see? Just focus on that. And the mental stuff will go away. I can kind of do it with my eyes open now, but it's really nice to do it with your eyes closed in the beginning. Just look at the inside of your eyelids. That's all that exists in the entire world. So anytime you want to sort of short circuit the monkey mind, looking at your at the insides of your eyelids is really good practice. And you can open your eyes after you've done that and come back out and go, oh, what was all that nonsense in my head? I feel calm in the present moment. How cool is that? Enjoy the darkness. It's a place to find the calm, just like in the new moon over there. The trick is to be aware of that, again, with your eyes open. So now we have a couple of tools to detach and fly free. I really love this version of, I think it's the Orion Nebula, because it looks like a flying bird, a really big pink flying bird. And it's part of the universe that I am so fascinated with outside of the Earth. So let's detach and fly free. This is how we get to love without reservations. Now that we've detached through our senses and through the empty mind, this is only an introduction, I understand that. But just to give you an idea, now we can come out into the world having that space to go back into when we're challenged to be drawn into the traumas and dramas of the world and the ones inside our own heads. Because the most important person to practice our love without reservation is ourselves. So in this way, we get to release attachment to the past and release attachment to other people and release attachment to everything. And first and foremost, to do it within ourselves. And then we can find this space of no attachment to the traumas and dramas, a space where we can hug the earth and everything that's in it and ourselves. And it's such a great tool in dealing with everything that goes on in the rest of the world and whatever is left over of our own resistance to our own divinity. It's a wonderful feeling. I hope I've been able to give you a taste of it at this point. It's just, it's so hard sometimes to describe when I get to that place where I can just breathe and hug the earth and I don't have to think about anything. To just be a vessel, to let other people, for instance, find their own space of calm, their own empty mind. It's okay for the mind to be empty. Yeah, it's okay for the mind to be empty. Oh, let's see what's next. Oh, a couple of things that you can do with this energy. And that is to repeat it with your own inner dialogue. When your inner dialogue comes in and is trying to tell you all kinds of things that you don't really want to deal with, you can use this place. Take a deep breath. Even close your eyes and look at your eyelids. And just quiet. Step back inside your own self. No reservation now. Doesn't mean you can't be responsible for things. It just means that you love yourself. Underneath it all, because a vessel has a space for you to grow in, but it also has a bottom to keep you safe. Try this with conversation. Move it out beyond yourself when you get a chance, when people come to you with their traumas and dramas. You can step back, take a pause. Remember they're part of that entire globe that you just hugged. You don't have to hug them personally. You can step back and find a response that exemplifies love without reservation. Instead instead of reacting to what the other person is saying. I think the pause before response is probably one of the most important things I've taken to practice love without reservation. It's so expansive to think of love that way. I really like it. No needs. You don't have needs. I'll stop with the sharing now. We don't have needs. We don't have to have need transaction type relationship with ourselves. I am who I am. Hi. I love everybody, but I'm not enmeshed with everybody. I can step back and look at my eyelids or focus on the present moment and the green cloth that's over there. Ooh, I've got a few minutes left. Let's look at the Q&A. Oh, I hope you got some calm out of this. I gotta find my cursor and get it back over here. Aha. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask me about this process? Or are we all just living in our calmness? This is interesting. Oh, okay. Ilya asked me if I could elaborate on seeing your eyelids with your eyes open. Oh, that's cool. That's a good question. Um, wow. I guess I use my imagination to do it. I'm actually more looking for the feeling that I had when I was doing it than the actual mental picture, if that makes sense. I try to remember, oh, when I was looking at my eyelids for a while, it felt like this. I was able to let go of my mind's mental activity and, ooh, let's do that again. So it was kind of like a trigger more than anything else. Silence is good. That's what we were going for today. Thanks again, Ilya. Appreciate it. So this is in case we're just waiting to see if anybody else has any questions they want to ask. Actually, I'm kind of glad that I'm not seeing too many because that means that hopefully you were able to share my experience and get a feeling for what it's like to be in a space of having no reservation, of no attachments for a little while. And I'm hoping that it gave you a couple of tools to use to get back to that place. Because there are many challenges that we face in life, and I think Marianne in particular is facing quite a few natural challenges from the natural world at the moment. And to be able to find a place of calm in there is pretty important. We could add, Ilias says, we could add, what do you sense with your other senses after going through the first 6? Okay. I'm trying to get a sense of where you're going with that. because there are more than six? Or how does knowing about my sixth sense affect the other ones? I think it makes me more aware of and appreciative of the five senses that I was born with biologically. I think that's where you're going. The thing about the senses is it keeps us in the present moment. Extrasensorial senses. Oh, okay. There's a knowing that I have about things that constitutes what I consider to be my, I guess it's, I don't know if it's a sixth sense or not. That's a good question. It's not a sense of like, I know when people are near me, people's energy is near me. I have that too. But this is a knowing thing. It's a knowing about how the whole universe works and how we're all connected to it. That's the ultimate sense that I think that we all have, and the one that we're probably mostly least aware of. Anyway, now my time has run out, and I want to thank you all for coming. And also pass on that Ilya said that intuition is the first sense. Ah, good point. I guess intuition is what feeds into my sense of what the universe is about. Thank you all for coming, and I appreciate you participating in Guidely's Summit. I am looking forward to participating as a guide in this whole process. Really appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for coming.